From the shadow of Mount Rainier comes your business superheroes, the Disruptors, Bill and Candace.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Candace.
And we're
the Disruptors.
I want my
Yay.
parking space back. I'm tired of
parking
walking
for you.
around the chicken and the freezer out there.
You didn't hear that.
I had a
No
VIP
parking for
space. I should have it back.
No parking for you.
Wonderful.
No parking.
We had your insurance person here. I will contact her later. Over
That's
the
fine.
Terrible.
She'll side with me.
I think my
No
neck
parking
is
for you.
messed up or whatever. Candace, we have Angie here today. And we're going to talk about first-time buyers.
First time buyers.
Buyers. Buyers.
What kind of buyers?
Well, it depends upon where you're at in the United States.
First of all, Angie, welcome to the show. She's
you.
with
Yeah, who's she with?
Weichert.
Realtors.
Ah, Weichert,
And
okay.
Angie is amazing. I've known Angie for a while.
And Angie is amazing. That's true.
She is.
And she's going to talk to us today about first-time buyers in the
Home
real
buyers.
estate. Well, okay, home buyers. Excuse me.
First time buyers.
Is this the first time you've been on the show? You know I'm
No, I think
mentally
you're new.
incapable.
We need to train you.
That's
Welcome
true.
to the show, Angie.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Oh, well, today, as I mentioned, what's the market looking like for the first-time buyer?
First-time home buyers, right now the market is, we don't have enough sellers. So really, realistically, we need more people selling their homes. That way it gives buyers an opportunity to buy those homes. A lot of first-time home buyers are in the lower price range, under $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes at the under 200,000 and under, they're competing with cash buyers who can go in and close in 14 days.
Wow.
And that's really appealing to a seller because then they can get out really fast. But the downside is that they're competing in some place that they can't play. And
These are the guys that flip the houses.
they're
and
the ones that go out and
development people and all that.
Exactly.
They kind of swoop in and buy up the market.
We do have, we do also work with a lease with the right to purchase company that are cash buyers. So what happens?
Interesting.
Well, that is interesting.
It is very interesting to work with these guys because what happens is they qualify the buyer, the first time buyer, or any buyer for that matter. So what happens is they get qualified and they're told how much they can spend, what their limit is.
What their limit is.
So we then go out and look for a house. They find the house. This company goes in, looks at it, does the inspection, and closes as a cash buyer in 10 to 14 days.
Oh, okay. So they've got
and
some
then
money
they
behind
have
it.
then the buyer has up to 5 years to decide. It's a lease with the right to purchase, which is different than a lease to own. Because if at any time during that time they decide, I really don't like this house, or at the end of the 5 years they've decided that they don't want to purchase it any longer,
Okay.
they can move out and move on and go and purchase a new home. They can only do this one time.
One time.
Yes, so they can't, if they get into a house with lease for the right to purchase, what happens is they can use that one time. And after that, 5
then
years,
they have to buy
have to buy on their own.
I see.
And it goes up like rent, but there's a predetermined cost at the end of it, what they'll pay once they can get a loan together, and they've got from to 5 years to purchase it. But with the first time home buyers, a lot of them don't know what each step. They don't know that they need to get pre-approved.
Well, they don't know how to even start, do they?
They don't know where to start, how to start. My job is not to pressure them. My job is to give them the information. You're not pre-approved. Well, here's a list of some lenders. Call, interview them, and see which one works best for you. If none of these work for you, or you just don't have a good feeling, I've got some more that I work with. And I will make sure that I try to match the personality of my buyer with the personality of the lender, because I want them to have an experience. I want them to feel good because, again, this is very stressful and a very large purchase.
It really is. And you're setting up a legacy for your family, actually, if you
Right.
stop and think about it.
Right. And so with me, I'm also trying really hard to make sure that when we have that first meeting, what's expected, what's the process, and where do we go? I've got a whole sheet, a whole form that lays everything out that you can say, okay, on this day I had the buyer consultation, on this day I met with the lender, on this day, and they can actually put dates of when all of these things took place, and they can follow it all the way through escrow and closing.
Well,
Isn't
that's
that
really
amazing?
neat.
Yeah,
Well,
it
it
is
just
amazing.
puts the expectation
Well, you
out.
know,
and
yeah.
So
takes the guesswork out.
they know where they
Yeah.
are in the whole process. They're not having to guess. They're not
Worry.
having to wonder. They're okay. We've done the inspection. We've got this many days, and okay, they've said that they're going to fix these items, and now it's here. And I give them a packet of information. I give them the purchase and sales agreement, the financing addendum. I give them all of the addendums that could potentially be part of their package, so that we can go through them and they can read them, call me, we'll do a second sit down if they'd like, and I'll be more than happy to explain anything that's in there that they don't understand, or we can go through it right then and there, because I feel that a lot of people don't understand what earnest money is. And
No, they really don't. It's probably...
That's probably the biggest question I get. What is earnest money? Why do you need earnest money? And I just tell them it's a good faith deposit. And once your offer is accepted, that money sits there and ends up being taken as part. It ends up being absorbed into the cost of the house.
Into the cost of the house.
So, like if it's $250,000, you put
$1,200 or
whatever
down.
down.
Sure.
It's usually 3.5%, 3.5% to 4%. If you have FHA, it's 3.5%. If it's a conventional, it's 4%. If it's a VA and USDA is zero down. So if you can ever get into a VA or a USDA, they're zero down. So it's really important that you know where you stand in your loan and what type of loan you have.
See, we're really lucky because we're sitting out on the farm here.
I was going to say, Roger's looking for a new one right
Roger's very up.
Roger the Rooster.
When
He occasionally does cameo
Appearances, yes.
here on the podcast.
and Mandy is the other chicken that helped
Maddie.
us. Maddie. I'm going to
Well,
change her name.
when you're out on a farm, you just kind of have to roll with things.
Oh, yes.
You know.
Yes, well, we can't afford help, see, so Roger takes care of checking our guests, and then Mandy...
He's walked from one window now to the other window.
He'll go out the other window.
He's making sure that I don't overstay my welcome.
Oh, yeah, everything.
I'm not trying to rob
That's
you or
right,
anything.
that's right.
You know, some of the times the things with first-time home buyers is that they need credit repair.
Yes.
Or they're afraid. I think that sometimes stops people is that they're afraid or they're embarrassed or ashamed, whatever those feelings are around, their credit or where it might be. I know just working with you and working with other people and knowing other people you've helped, you have a great approach where, it's not about that. It's not. Totally squash the fear. You're totally personable, so it's easy to actually have a conversation with you. So, do you have people that help with credit repair?
I have a couple of lenders that do have companies that they work with to do credit repair. My job is not the credit repair, and I don't ever know what your credit score is. I don't ever know what the situation is. There is a buyer that I've been working with for a year and a half now.
Wow.
She was in credit repair, and what ended up happening is recently she lost her mother.
Oh, horrible.
And
that makes it kind of rough, doesn't it?
The first thing I did was reached out. Hey, just checking to see how you're doing. Is there anything I could do for you? And she was at the end. She's ready to buy a house now, and she's like, she was getting ready to start looking for a house with her mother.
Yeah.
And when I called her, she goes, I can't buy a house right now. And I'm like, that's not why I'm calling. I don't care when you're able to buy a house or when you're up to it, we'll cross that bridge. I'm calling right now to see how you're doing, and is there anything I can do right now to help you in any way. It's not about selling a house. It's not about my commission check. It's about what can I do for
To
you
help
as a
you.
person.
Oh, that's great.
And that's with any client, any buyer, any seller. It's not about that sale. It's not about my paycheck. It's about what's in the best interest of my clients. First and foremost, I am not that agent that goes, "Oh, I've got this $650,000 house.
Yeah, you can't wait.
And
boy.
and
Swimming
here's how
pool
much.
Here, yeah.
And here's how much I'm going to make on commission, and this is going to be great." And then I get somebody that's, "I just want to buy an $80,000 mobile." Okay, great. Let's go look at it. I don't care.
Good fixer-upper. It's always interesting to me, too, because the people... We just helped a friend of ours a couple of years ago sell his double wide. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of interesting because we set it up so that the real estate people would call us before they'd bring the family over and all that. I don't think I've ever really, truthfully met such a bunch of rude people in my life.
Right. Some of them are very rude.
When we sold Joe's home over in Port Orchard,
yes.
there was a continuous bunch of realtors, and it seems to me like maybe I'm wrong, but if the house is, taken care of and inhabited, they would show up out of no call in at all. I'd be knocking on the door. Okay, well, you guys got to get out of the way because I have clients in the car.
Yeah, that's
and things
because,
of this nature.
And I can tell you what happened. What happened was the listing agent most likely didn't put that
There's people there.
That there's people there. Please give 2 hours notice. If it's a renter, we have to give by law 24 to 48 hours notice before we can show that property.
We had a contract. We were actual renters,
and
with that option that we would help you get rid of it.
They have to provide by law. Mm-hmm. They have to give 24 to 48. The owner of the property needs to give 24 to 48 hours notice to any renter. And so a real estate agent can't just knock on the door unless they've scheduled an appointment with the owner. Well, the owner is supposed to call and let the tenant know that, hey, I've got people coming over. And I've actually called because they had the phone to show the tenants. And I happened to call on it because they wanted 2 or 3 hours notice. Well, I called the day before. I tried to set up my appointments the day before.
Right.
And they're like, well, tomorrow's not going to work for us because we're having a party. Mm-hmm. Really? So I just made a call to the listing agent. You might want to have a conversation with your sellers that this may be a difficult sell with the tenants in the home, and explained what happened. But a lot of people don't realize what's going on until they're in it. It's easier to sell a vacant house or a house that...
Yes.
Well, I imagine it is. I just think that what I was trying to get at was, I think that we naturally kept everything really so it was showroom fresh. Yeah. We knew that this was going to be what the realtor needed.
Right.
We wanted to make sure that any hazard materials or anything was taken care of. The yard looked great and all that stuff. I think the point that disgusted me a little bit was, and I'm not saying all of them were rude.
No.
There's some really nice people. In fact, the guy that ended up selling it is a super nice guy. What I thought was, to me, is when you bring somebody through in a home in that particular situation, it could be handled, I guess, more on a better relationship, more of a friendly,
and I know
warm relationship instead of, oh, well, we got somebody in the car, the clock is ticking, my commission check is in my hand almost, you got to get out quick.
I know there's been times where I've shown homes or I've called the schedule home and people are like, I really can't leave because this is going on. I'm like, you know what, that's fine. And so then I explained to my clients, my buyers, hey, they're not going to be leaving the house. So if you're going to make any comments, we'll go back out to the car and we'll make those comments out there. Don't comment about the house while they're there.
That's just kind of common courtesy. Right. I mean, because, people...
It's best if they leave, but if they can't or they don't want to because some of them, they've got valuables in the house and they just don't trust...
Well, that's all very true. That could be a big problem.
And I completely, if I'm showing a house that is owner occupied or tenants live in it,